I am live. Okay. It is Tuesday, November 7th. And I'll just do a quick, if you're watching this video and it does not say live up in the corner, I'm not live. So if you start asking me questions and you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not live. If it says live in the corner, it's happening now. Okay. How's everybody? Hi, Miss Kimberly. How are you, honey? Oh, where's the tea? Okay. This may be emotional evening, so I'm not sure how emotional you're feeling, but you might grab some tissue just in case. I have some. Oh, I just got crap on my fingers. Just got honey. Honey. Done. Okay. Hi, Tana. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, sweet soul. How are you? Teresa, hello. Joanne, Cindy, hello. Karen, hello. Oh, you're so welcome. Hi, Patty. Mary, sending strength. Oh, oops. Hi, Miss Jerry. Let me try that again. Sending strength and courage to tackle this topic. This is a big one. This is really a big one, suicide. And I've asked my son to step forward. So there's that. Hi, Anon. Is it Anon or Anon? Hi, Katie. Hi, Monica. Hi, Becky. Oh boy, I got myself all worked up. So when my son's energy comes in, I get obviously, I mean, it's incredibly emotional. So I feel him pretty strong. So, and Miss Tanya, hello. I swear one of these days we're going to meet up and go for a ride, my friend. Okay. So I figure I'll give it just a little bit more time and then we'll dig in. So as I'm kind of getting ready, hi, Miss Christy. Sherry, hugs right back. I receive your love and I send it right back to you, sweet soul. Hi, Christina. So tonight's topic is suicide. It is about what happens to the soul when we leave the body in such a difficult choice. Boy, they pulled me right to my son. So I have his photo up here on the wall. So pulled me right to him. And we are at the 13-year anniversary. Yesterday was 13 years. Today was the day that my husband and a dear friend set out to find him because he had called to tell us goodbye the night before. So thank you, Christy. Aw, Jerry, thank you. So it's interesting, and I think it's important for people to know, even I as a medium still struggle with the physical loss. Even though I can talk to him and work with him, there's still that disconnect of the physical. And so I think it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this tonight was to show people that we all struggle. It can be a struggle anyway to lose someone in such a manner. It doesn't matter how they pass. It's hard to lose them. I think that for me, at least, knowing that it was his choice is quite interesting because my husband and I have talked about this in depth over the years. And it's interesting because on one hand, I'm glad that it was his choice and somebody didn't take his life. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like I would have been more pissed. But then I'm like, kind of pissed anyway, because it was his fucking choice. So it can go both ways. And for anybody who's lost to someone to suicide, please, please know their souls are safe. I have unfortunately heard some horrific things that people have been told because their loved ones have passed from suicide. Some mediums have even said some things to people that should not ever be said. If it serves no greater good, why would you say certain things? And I also think sometimes the medium can get stuck in their own head and say things out of ego. I have done a lot of readings over the years. I estimate now over 3,000. I'm going to have to go and look and see how many emails I have acquired because the program that I use keeps track of all the emails. And I think my last check a year or two ago was 2,500. I might be exaggerating that. But I know it's quite a few. And my point is, in all of the time and all of those readings, I've not once had somebody who's passed from suicide tell me they were being tortured or that they were punished. I've had them show me that they were being healed and that there was a lot of healing and there was a lot of karma that they had accrued because of their choice, which means they're going to be given another opportunity to work through that. But not one time have I seen somebody being traumatized or hurt. Okay. Do sometimes souls maybe, I hate the word stuck because I've not seen it as being stuck, but maybe kind of hold back a little bit. Yeah, I think that can happen, but I don't think that's the general rule, if that makes any sense. And if you guys have any questions about that, please feel free to ask. Christina says it's not the same. It's so hard. Well, I think it's not the same like for us, but everybody experiences grief and loss differently. So while suicide may be the worst thing I've ever experienced, it may not. I mean, somebody else may have lost somebody to suicide, but another type of death might have been more difficult. So we certainly don't want to judge somebody else's pain. I know one time somebody told me losing an animal was the same as losing a child, and I about lost my shit. And I've lost animals that I love my animals so much, but it didn't compare nowhere near what it was like to lose a child. But that again is my experience. Okay, right. Yeah, so Sherry, and I'm glad that you said that. And I was just that those who take their own life would go to hell. I actually had somebody ask me if I thought my son was in hell right after he passed within weeks. No, no, I don't. And he's actually, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this evening, but he's actually standing over my left shoulder and he kind of is coming in and out like, so you might see orbs. You might just see like a flickering of energy and you might actually get it in your third eye for those of you who are very clairvoyant. Just pay attention to it. And my dad is here as well. I actually invited everybody. I was like, I'm inviting my entire team. Get your asses in here. I invited everybody and anybody who works with suicide on the other side. And anybody who's passed from suicide that has a loved one that's watching tonight, I invited them to step into. Tammy, my son's name was Derek. Okay. I've actually, if you scroll my page, you'll find a lot of information about him. Every year, there should be like every year I've had this page, I have a post for my son. Dawn just saw an orb. Yeah, I would suspect you will. So, like I said, I would just kind of keep watching that. So, there are things called exit points that are built into our life, our story. So when we build our soul contract, okay, I need to learn this. I've got this karma to work through. This soul has decided she's going to be my mom or has agreed to be my mom. This soul is going to be my brother. This soul is going to be my friend. This soul's all those souls, these animals, these places, these things, all of it is in that soul contract. So when we start working on that, okay, there is an opportunity that I could depart at this age, at this age, at this age. Crazy shit, huh? And yes, from what I've been shown, what I believe is that suicide can be an exit point. Okay. Um, don't think it's one they're supposed to take, but I think it's like, okay, my soul has done here, and this is a choice. But with that said, there's still karma connected to that, and I cannot stress that enough. And if you find yourself struggling, I believe the number is 988. Please dial that number. I should have probably put that up here. Let me just Google something real quick, and I can throw it up here. It's a crisis line. Yes, I was correct. Woohoo! 988 is the crisis line. So if you find yourself struggling, so let me put this here, crisis. So instead of dialing 911, you would dial that. Okay. Peggy, 988. 988. So I think one of the worst things that we do to ourselves is that we don't understand how to sit in our pain. And if we could do that from the time we're little, if we could teach our children how to feel the trauma, how to feel the pain, and how to move through it and release it. And you do that by feeling it. You do not do that by running away from it. And that is where we get into trouble. And I know that that is what happened with my son. He had a hard time sitting with his emotions and how he felt. And he was what is that saying? A square peg in a round hole. He was such a unique soul, and he had his own story. But we all tried to shove him in the box. Got to fit in school. He didn't. He had a hard time in school. But you gotta sit down for the whole effing day, and it was hard for him. I always say, I wish I knew then the shit I know now. I feel like it would have helped him a lot, but I also know that that was part of my journey. I'm going to cry. A part of my learning experience. Okay. So my son taught me so much, and he still does to this day. I have learned so much through him. And so am I able to connect to my child? Absolutely. He's here tonight. I don't know if you missed that part, but like I was telling people, if you watch over my left shoulder, you may see orbs, or you might see like a wave of energy. It's really, everybody sees stuff differently. You might just feel it. You might just know it. Tammy is freezing up. Anybody else freezing up? Karma, Tammy, that's a good question. Karma's neither good nor bad, honey. Karma's karma. So we humans are the ones that label it, but the soul does not. Karma is lessons. So karma, and karma is not going to get you. That drives me effing crazy when people post that stuff. Karma's going to get you. Stop. Think of karma as a diary, a balancer. I had this experience, so now I need to understand this. I judged this pretty harshly, so now I have to experience that. So all karma does is help balance. It's a universal law. It's part of a universal law. I should say it's like the dharma of a universal law. That's a good way to say that. So, and so karma, again, not labeled good or bad, just is what it is. Okay. So if we have this experience, then we're going to have this experience. If we do great things, then we'll have those great experiences. But it's also lessons. So soul needs to learn and needs to understand. Okay. Lori. Oh, so okay. It might be your connection, whoever was freezing, because I have several people saying they didn't have any problems with it so far. So that's good. Michelle Lustig. lost a stepdaughter 60 months ago. It's hard. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Give yourself permission to move through the grief and to feel the grief again. Teach our littles how to feel their emotions and not to suppress them. Don't tell them don't cry. Show them it's okay to cry. That's expressing emotions. Expressing emotions is so healthy for you. I'm so proud of you for doing that. I'm so proud of you for doing that in a fucking society that teaches us not to. It's going to get hot. Okay. Mary Beth, when people attempt but live, is that a soul decision? Yes, 100%. It's the soul and the human both have decided, you know what, I need to stay. There are plenty of people who have tried in a specific way and they live. There are people who have tried in the same way somebody else did that passed. It's not because God is saying, oh, they're special. That drives me nuts too. It's because the soul made the choice. I have got more work to do. I'm not quite done yet. I've got more work to do. Sometimes the soul will choose to opt out because they can work on the other side. You're seeing a lot of that right now. Mass exodus on the earth right now. Mass exodus. So a lot of souls are choosing, I'm going to do more work on the other side. Okay. I feel like I answered that one. Anthony, oh, bless your heart, sweetheart. So Anthony says, my father-in-law committed suicide. So unexpected. Sometimes I feel he's not crossed over. So I am hearing Anthony out of my right ear, which is the good side. I hear I'm in the light. Okay. Okay. Joanne says, no, not sure what she's saying. No. Okay. Haley, hello, sweet soul. I'm watching for my daughter. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm watching for my daughter-in-law. She lost her brother and had an experience the other day, so the timing of this topic and video couldn't be more perfect. Much love to you and much love to her. I'm oddly seeing sunflowers, Haley, so I would just make note of the sunflowers for your daughter-in-law. Okay, I feel like I answered that. Becky, cry if you need to. I thank you, sweetheart. Candace, my Aunt Christine did. Sherry's freezing for her too. You might refresh. I'm not sure how my connection would cause it to freeze for you. I have no idea how that shit works. Just might check your connection. Mine is full power. I live in this country too, so there's that. Okay. Shelley, hugs to those who've experienced this. I did. My grandpa committed suicide decades ago, 40 years, but I still cherish him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, the biggest takeaway I hope for everybody this evening is to know that those souls are safe. Yes, they have more work to do. They have created some additional karma, so they're going to have to work through that. The more you can forgive them for their actions, the better it's going to be for your soul. Okay. And I would also say don't blame other people for their actions also. Okay. My daughter did try once before. Yeah. And when we get in that place, I suppose a high percentage of us have felt like we're just done, like we just can't do this. And I know, especially after my son passed, I felt that a lot. But I also knew that there was a reason I was here and I had work to do. I didn't want to give up on that. And I'm asking you, if anybody who's watching this, don't give up on that. Even if you're in the midst of the worst pain of your life, you are learning something through that you are going to be able to use to help someone else. And that is one of our biggest reasons for being here right now, especially with the chaos that's happening on our earth. We are here to help one another through our journeys. We're here to learn, to love, to understand. We're also here to have difficult times. That is part of our journey. Okay. I know some people are like, fuck you. I know. I've said that. I've flipped off a lot of spirit on a daily basis. I've said some mean things to Spirit. I said some mean things to God. My cousin was a really good person, but a very bad drug addict. Well, and drug addicts are bad people. I'm not sure. It's interesting that's an interesting choice of words. Because I don't think people who are on drugs are bad people. I think people who get addicted to drugs are trying to hide something, trying to cover up a pain because they don't know how to deal with their emotions because we're not taught to. Most of us aren't. Some of us are blessed and are, but most of us aren't. He's taking his own because he just couldn't get clean. I've always wondered if he's at peace now. Michelle, I would go out on a limb and say, yeah. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Debbie. So tonight's topic, you guys, is suicide. So that we're talking about exit points, we're talking about suicide, and we're talking about karma. It is the anniversary of my son's passing was this week. So yesterday was when he took his life. Today is when they found him. And it's like the next few days. And to make it even more interesting, it's my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. So bless her heart. I know. That's just bullshit, isn't it? Like, why the fuck did you do that? He's like, I wasn't thinking about that, Mom. I was so wrapped up in my thoughts. I was so wrapped up in my own pain. I wasn't considering somebody else's. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Jerry, one of my biggest fears. Yeah. Yeah. So it is much love to you. Much love to you, Brenda. And Miss Jerry, biggest fears. Yeah. So if you could reach those who are really struggling, meditation is going to be very powerful on their journey to help them come within, because that's where you find the peace, that living in the moment instead of in the past or in the future. But if you can live in the moment, I have this second down. Okay, I have another second. I have another second. Okay. Sherry says her grandfather killed himself years ago, her daughter and her cousin's daughter. Wait, my understanding, so your grandfather took his life and then and before that he took theirs. I'm not sure if I understand that. So if you could help me with that, please. Becky's, my daughter's father committed suicide 2 years ago. He walked out of her life and then she was 4. When she was 4, when she was 19, she feels like he abandoned her twice in her life. That would absolutely feel like abandonment, wouldn't it? My hope is that she's feeling those emotions and knowing that it was his traumas and that it wasn't that she had done anything wrong. Most of the time, especially when we're little kids and our parents are not part of our lives, we blame ourselves. What did I do wrong? What could I have fixed? It was a soul contract for her to experience that in this lifetime. Why our souls choose certain things, I can't say I know for 100%, but I do know that we do choose. Okay. And I will also tell you, I know how everything boils down to self-love and about coming within and finding that security within herself. Okay. Patricia says her brother overdosed and she wants to know if he's okay. She would love to know if he's okay. But I hear no harm for him. Okay. Sarah, you're so welcome. Oh. To suffer? That's an interesting question. Let me see what I can deduce from that. Okay, mother did try. It wasn't to suffer at all. It was to understand the consequences of her actions is simply what that was about. Okay. And so she may not be able to comprehend that on a physical level, especially if she's got, if she has any damage to the brain from that. But on soul level, she absolutely would understand, okay, when I do this, this happens, or this was what I wanted to do. So I need to experience that. Okay. It's not punishment. It's not punishment. Okay. Oh, this is Tammy. Besides suicide as an exit point, do you believe all the lives lost due to COVID-19? Yeah, I do believe it was an exit point, and I think that those things happen to teach us. A lot of people get frustrated with me. I had a mama yell at just like it was through the computer, but it was all caps and it was exclamation points. And if she could have punched me in the face, I'm pretty sure she probably would have. But she was pretty pissed because of my talk about this kind of stuff. Doesn't matter how mad you get, it is what it is. Okay. You're welcome for the earlier question, sweetheart. So even those who have died, the horrific events that take place, that's all to teach us. We learn from experiences. Unfortunately, the more difficult experiences are the ones we learn the most from. Okay. Horrific wars where many people are dying left and right. So many people needlessly giving their lives, okay, to teach us. We see that and we know we can surmise that's bad, which teaches us what? That we should love one another and stop judging each other. And that's why if you follow me or if you followed me for very long at all, you'll hear me say, do not send anger to the people causing that shit. Do not send anger because you're adding to the problem. Send love from your heart because hurt people, and you cannot end anger with anger, pain with pain. You end it with love by loving somebody, by saying, I see that. I think it's fucked up, not gonna lie, but I can see that and say, for whatever reason, they believe they are doing the right thing. Do I think it is? Absolutely fucking not. But I can send love hoping that that energy gets healed. Whatever you put out, you get back. Law of attraction, universal laws. You should look those up. There's 7 of, well, I think there's more than 7, but there's 7 that I'm familiar with. Law of attraction. Oh, law of abundance. So what we put out, we get back. And I would even go as far as to say, stop watching the news. So, because what it does is it lowers our vibration and it makes us angry. It's not healthy for our planet. It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our world. Okay. So yes, there's a lot of exit points, a lot of places where the soul will say, we're gonna choose to mass exodus because we can help on the other side, and we're here to help prove a point. We're here to help show something. I hope this makes sense, you guys. He's overdosing on drugs, the same as suicide. 3 friends have passed this way. Spirit says yes and no. Because you literally have participated in an event that took your life. Slight difference in that it wasn't a necessary intention when they took the drugs, but they are still harming themselves in effort. They are still harming themselves in effort. Interesting. They said that it does still have karmic consequences. Again, I know karma is neither good or bad, but there are still things that will accrue karmically. Okay. Oh, yeah, so much loss to suicide. My brother hung himself over drugs, and a girl, I pray he found peace. I hear no longer in pain, Evie, no longer in pain. For those of you who have lost loved ones to suicide, I highly recommend a reading with a medium. It doesn't have to be me. Obviously, I would be honored, but that's not the most important point or part. The most important part is that you find peace. You can do that yourself through meditation and asking that soul to step forward. Most of the time, people don't trust themselves enough to believe that it wasn't made up in their head, that it wasn't real. That's where the medium can come in and to help. So again, doesn't have to be with me, but find somebody that you trust, find somebody who has really good testimonials. Okay. My, my sister OD'd. Okay. Was it an accident? I miss her. I do not feel like that was intentional, Amanda. Okay. I hear not. I get upset when you hear someone say how they could do that to their family. Yeah. That's where that staying in your lane and trying not to get drawn into other people's drama as much as you can stay out of it. Which is hard because that's what the fucking news does, is it pulls you right in. Lowers your vibration. Oh, sorry, honey. So Sherry, apologize for that. I wasn't understanding. She meant that years later, her daughter took her life and then her cousin's daughter took her life. So it's definitely in my family. Bless your heart. Joanne, I'm going to pop this up. I struggled for some time after my uncle took his life, feeling guilty for bringing history to surface. It's not on you. It is absolutely not, but that time was confusing. In the last 8 years, there have been more and more students, acquaintances, friends. Topic has brought a lot of thoughts to the surface from past friends that have passed. Yeah. We spend so much time blaming ourselves for the what ifs. I should have done this. I could have done this. If you were supposed to, you would have. I believe that in my heart. If it was supposed to change, it would have changed. I believe that. I hold on to that. I've never been shown, well, if you would have just fucking called. So what I do know is if you do feel that energy, let your body feel it, move through the energy. And then if you find yourself in a similar situation where somebody else is going through something, pick up the phone and reach out. I didn't do that last time. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to say, hey, okay. So that's where you can make the change. Okay. Miss Kim, my oldest brother, John, committed suicide by shotgun. Yep. Oh, honey, much love to you. Thank you, Kim. Well, wasn't expecting that. Can I have some tea? I put a cinnamon stick in my tea, and I keep touching the damn thing, and it's got honey on it. Like shit. So let me get it out of my tea. Okay. I need a tissue. Edie, you are so welcome. Why would it be so prominent in areas? Well, what's really interesting is what I just got out of that was dark energy. Interesting. Why would it be so prominent? It feels like dark energy, my dear. I don't know what the hell that is. Lack of outreach, criticism, lack of self-discipline. There's a reference to nourishment. Well, hell, that was interesting. I truly feel suicide is an emotional disturbance. I feel that it's a lack of feeling emotions, or that's not the way I wanted to say that. I apologize. It is a lack of knowing how to process and handle emotions. Okay. Nance Quartet. Um, not getting anything for that, sweetheart. My ex-boyfriend hung himself. I had a dream where he tells me to go pick him up because he doesn't like where he's at. Does this mean he's not at peace? I don't feel like that's what that means, but Nance, give me his name in the comments below, but also say why you're giving me his name. Thank you for, you're welcome, Evie. Courtney Morris, I got in the light like that. Almost got this sports oriented figure in like a green jersey. Does that make any sense to you? A friend John, they say, committed suicide in his pool, but we've all felt it was his girlfriend that took his. I am not going to touch that. Nope. But I do hear the word safe, Cindy. Okay. It's Crystal, better late than never. My cousin passed Saturday. Is she at peace? Interestingly, Amanda, I'm hearing willingness to travel. Patty, you're welcome. Blessed be. So, Sherry, is the guilt helping you? Is it making your life better? And I'm not saying that to be an asshole, although I do realize I sound like an asshole when I say that, but I'm being sincere. Is it helping you? And if you're telling me it's not helping you, then that's what you need to know, isn't it? Because she doesn't want that for you. She would not want you to be miserable. Nope. And she wouldn't want you to hold on to the guilt either. I hear never, not once, Mom, not once. So that tells me it's time for you to release this, to give this to the angels, to give this to the guides, to your guides, and let them take this from you. And let yourself heal that aspect of yourself that's holding on to the guilt. Okay, it's time. It's time. But you got to feel it. Like you can't avoid that part of it. You have to feel it so that you could release it. I will tell you, I feel like you store it in your arms, which is interesting. Dana, my son took his life 3.5 years ago. Oh, sweet soul, love to you too. I long to know if my son is okay and at peace. I miss him. And I'm going to say the same thing I said a minute ago. Find a medium and do a reading. It doesn't have to be with me. I would be honored to do it, but find a medium you're comfortable with and do a reading. Do a reading. Okay. I will tell you that I hear my guides are saying that soul is safe. Okay. Okay. Carlene says, where'd you go, Carlene? There you are. My cousin's death was ruled a suicide. His mother insists it was an accident. Is this common coping? Yeah, it's a very common coping method for someone who loses a loved one. Absolutely. My husband's grandmother, when her son, he passed from suicide, but she told everybody he had cancer. It is, especially from that era, because it was so frowned upon. I mean, obviously, for obvious reasons, but it was such a sin, especially in, I believe it was Catholicism or religion in general, but it was a huge sin. They're in hell burning, and nobody wanted anybody to know that their loved one was in hell burning. Horrific that we would do that to somebody, that we would say that to somebody. That's just devastating to me. So yes, we can have a very hard time wrapping our minds around it and then admitting it and then admitting it to other people. Okay. And I believe that also happens because we start to blame ourselves and we think we did something wrong. And then we're mortified, like, oh my God. And then we carry guilt and we carry blame and we carry shame. That's what I just heard. Shame for that. Whew. Bless your heart. Sarah, I hear yes. Sherry, my best friend Jen's husband, took his life by hanging himself in their garage, and she's struggling to move on. It's been 2 years. She and her son found him. Oh my God, it was. Can you tell me if he is still at their home? She thinks she senses him. So here's the thing: what happens when you pass in a home? So if you die in a difficult way, that energy is what they feel. So if I were to walk into that house, I would absolutely be able to feel somebody died in this house, and this is how it felt like to me. I might feel like I was being choked. No, he's not choking me, but I might feel how he passed, if that makes sense. I would absolutely have her sage that home. Sage does not get rid of spirits, so it's not going to get rid of the loved one. But what sage does is it clears the energy that was created from the incident that occurred. And I think a lot of people, when they go into haunted houses, that's what they're feeling, is the energy that was left behind from the passing. Or if a tragic event took place, they're feeling the energy that was left behind. Okay. So that's more residual energy than it is an actual intelligent haunting. Okay. So I see, I hear in the light for that energy as well. Okay. But 2 years after something so devastating, that is no time at all, you guys. I remember feeling so exhausted about 6 months into my son's passing. I was so tired of being tired. I was tired of crying every day. I was tired of everything. I was so tired of being tired. And I literally had just like forced myself to do shit because it hurt. I was tired of hurting. But it doesn't just go away without doing the work and putting in the effort. And it does take time. Time isn't necessarily the answer, because you could do 10 years and not be dealing with it, and it's the same as a day. Do you know what I'm saying? So they say time heals all wounds. Time and effort is what heals that and what helps you with that. I'm never not going to know that my son died. Do you know what I mean? So it's never going to go away. I'm always going to have that. I'm always going to have that my son died. But now I can say it without dying inside. Okay. And I think that's when you know you're doing the work, so that you're letting yourself feel it, you're processing. This is how that feels. This is why I felt that. This is where I'm feeling that. This is how I'm going to move through that energy, and I'm going to let this energy move through me so that I'm not gripping onto it so tight. Yeah, Sherry. I just want to say I feel like that soul has crossed into the light. But again, I would move that energy of the house. I would get some sage. Well, mine's all burnt out and I dropped it. So, but I would get some sage. Palo Santo, Holywood, I would use that too. Palo Santo is a very strong way to release energy. Okay. And then what brings in good energy is sweetgrass. And I just put all my sweetgrass over there, so I don't have any to show you, but I would get some sweetgrass too. Plus, it smells divine. Oh, much love to you. Much love to you, Peggy. Thank you. I'm a, oh, Sherry, you got a lot of questions, sweet soul. I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying. I would highly recommend a reading. Again, it doesn't have to be with me. But I feel like you've got so many questions that a reading will be so important and so beneficial and so beautiful for you. So again, it doesn't have to be with me. Find a medium that you're comfortable working with. I would love to work with you, but I would suspect you're reading, sweetheart. I also feel like you're getting hung up on that too. And that's not uncommon either to get stuck in because we can't move through the passing. Bless your heart. Sherry, I'm just going to send you lots and lots of love. Okay. Please receive it when you have time. And you do that by sitting in quiet. Shut the door if you have a lot of noise going on. Find a quiet place. Feet flat on the floor, palms up in your lap. Nice straight spine. Nice deep breath. I receive all the love and light ever sent to me by anyone, anytime, any place in this dimension or any other. I receive all of the love and just let yourself feel it. Imagine it's coming into the crown all the way down. And just feel it. Most of us just go throughout our day asking people to pray for us. And then what do we do with that energy? Not a damn thing. Receive it. Receive it. You can receive it at the top of your head. You can receive it through your heart chakra. Allow that energy to come in. Feel it. If you've never done it before, it can be incredibly overwhelming the first time you do it because you're giving yourself permission to feel and receive all of that love. It's like a big gob of love plopping right on you. Ooey gooiness. Oh, yeah. When selfish when somebody chooses suicide. I think the hurt me thought it was pretty selfish. But the more healed I get, the more I realize he wasn't selfish. He was hurting and he couldn't he couldn't think of any other way. He just was tired of hurting all the time. And this was what he came up with as a good idea. So, yeah, he wasn't selfish. And I don't think suicide is selfish. I think suicide is fucking pain that doesn't know how to be processed. Okay. Yes, Rebecca, this will be able to be this once I close out, it stays on. I am not sure if it stays indefinitely. I have no clue. I used to think it did, but recently I think I saw on my subscriber group it says it stays for like a month and then it deletes. I was like, shit, I didn't know that. So I don't think it gets deleted, but I can't say it doesn't. Oh, much love to you, sweet soul. Much love to you. Oh, much love to you, Sherry. Hey, just got home and I'm super happy I caught your live. Hi, Leah. Kimberly, you always go to her page later and awesome. Thank you, Kimberly. Not having good coping skills. Yes, not having good coping skills is a huge part of suicide. Okay. Not knowing what to do with that information and that energy and just feeling like there's no answers. Okay. You do not get out of anything by taking your life. I know my son, when I first started to connect with him spiritually, I would channel some messages from him. He's like, just tell people don't do it, Mom. It's like, I didn't get out of shit. I'm like, yeah, I know. So no, but you still have to do the work, but now it's compounded. Okay. Miss Mary, my great grandmother died by suicide, then later her son. I wonder about the legacy. It does, 7 generations deep. 7 generations deep it affects and it haunts the family. Talk about it. Talk about your feelings. Communicate. Okay. I used to hear all the time, gosh, don't you wish you would have talked to your son about suicide before he died? I actually did. We talked about it all the time. But unfortunately, we talked about what it would do to us. Like, gosh, it would kill me if you took your life. It would kill me if you died. It would kill me if something. Those were the things we talked about instead of saying, when you get to that point, if you ever get to that point. So I do think communication and talking about it is good, but I think there's power in how you talk about it. Okay. All right. Nancy says he committed suicide, and in my dream, he tells me he's not at peace. My concern is that that might be ego based, your fears for him versus reality. Does that make sense? Um, I would have you ask Nance Cortez, I would have you ask your guides to step forward and to show you if he is at peace. I feel like he is, but I think it's going to be important that you get that. So I would say, show me, have somebody say yes to me outside. Just the first yes or the first no I hear is going to be my sign. Okay. No, sweet soul. The guilt is not helping, and it's not. That's why I said it. I know, like I said, I could be an asshole. Work through it. You deserve it. You deserve the peace. You really do. We're not here to torture ourselves. Willingness to travel. Okay, I feel like she was tired and went willingly. My physical missed her. My soul knows, I think. Oh, bless your heart. Okay. Miss Amy. So Amy I have known since she was this little. Knee high to a grasshopper. Okay. So I felt guilt for the longest time after Derek committed suicide. Most of his family friends since I was very young, very little. I think you were 3 or 4. My husband watched her babysit the kids, and he's like, "Okay, you have to take a nap." And Amy says, "No, I'm too tired. I'm too tired." To this day, we tease her about, "I'm too tired." So, sorry, Amy, I told on you. Now I'll read your post. Okay. Melissa's family friend since I was very young, and Derek was my first kiss at like 8 to 10. I can't recall. He called me a week before he took his life and asked if I could hang out. I was 21 at the time and lived 45 minutes away. I told him I was busy when I wasn't. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. I always wondered if he would have committed suicide still if I told him I was free and spent time with him that he was seeking. Melissa told me years later that I can't read, I can't see the rest of what you wrote, sweet soul. Kind of it truncated, but, and I know Amy and I have had this conversation. Um, what I'm hearing out of my right ear is there was nothing that you could have done to change this particular situation either. And you had your own journey and your own story. And if you were meant to participate at that time, you would have got a nudge from your guides to call him. You would have got that little, need to make this phone call now. Okay. You didn't get that. And I don't think it matters how connected you are to your guides at the time. If you're supposed to get the message or you're supposed to feel it, you'll feel it. Okay. And maybe that's why you didn't feel it, because this was part of his journey and this was something he needed to discover for himself. So we want to take on we want to blame ourselves for other people's pain. When in fact, and I tell people this all of the time, by trying to fix their problems, you take on their karma. This was his karma. This was his story. This was his journey. This was his free will. Free fucking will. In other words, this was about Derek stepping into his power and saying, "Fuck this, I'm okay, I've got this, and I'm going to make changes." But he was looking for resolve from people. He was looking for resolve from people around him. But this little soul was like, "No, dude, you got to do this for yourself." Because everybody had tried to lift him up, but he couldn't do it for himself. And that's where his free will was, and that's where his power was. I just had a moment, didn't I? Shh. So that is powerful, you guys. That is so powerful for people to know that it is about them finding this for themselves, by them finding this love, this deep love for themselves. But for whatever reason, they were incapable. So no matter how hard you try to fix something, until they do it for themselves, it's not going to work. It's not going to matter until they do it for themselves. That's why it's so important to get in front of it, to teach them how to feel their feelings and how to move into those emotions and how to empower themselves. Well, oh, that was not attractive. Whew. Supposed to be able to mark a spot on this. I'm going to see if that works. I'll find out when I get done. Okay, I'm going to save that piece for later. My son has been 11 years. It does still hurt. Just process as much as you can. All right. Shit. All right. Oh, honey, yes, yes. It's interesting that you should say that because I've been having him visit me as well a lot. Not Derek, but Chris. So thank you for that so much, Kim, and so much love to you too, sweet soul. Okay. Yeah. No, it's heartbreaking when somebody tells us that their children are selfish or somebody was selfish for taking the act because it's not selfish at all. Okay. And Don says, I feel selfish when I get mad at a friend that took his life. It's because I miss him. But after 10 years, I know he wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He was the kind of person that wanted to see everybody, didn't want to see anybody hurt. Yeah. And that's Derek was that kind of person. He didn't want to hurt anybody. He just struggled with this stuff. Do you believe in the saying God only gives you what you can handle? I do not believe that there's a God up there that goes, here, take this bullshit. Watch this, hold my beer. Not, no. I believe that our souls choose what we're going to experience. I believe God is a supporting role. I love you so much. I'm going to support you while you have this journey. I do not believe that God says, let's do this to them. Ha, nope. No, 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 no. But your soul says, these are things that I need to learn in this lifetime. Some of us choose a lot. I don't know if my friend Rochelle is watching, but that sweet soul chose. I tell her she took the advanced course. Like, good God. But that's a very powerful soul too that does that chooses to have really hard experiences. They are strong and they are fucking powerful. And I am going to do this. I'm going to come in and I'm going to have this, this, and this. And because this soul learns so much on earth, more than any other place that we can incarnate, because they have duality here as we don't have duality in other existences. I know it's crazy. And if that sounds bizarre and like bullshit to you, give yourself some time to digest it and just think about this. We are on a planet orbiting in the universe and we think this is all there is. Think about that for a moment. Okay. So no, I'm not, I don't buy into that God only gives you what you can handle at all. I believe the soul is so intelligent, but I also know that we are powerful manifestors and we can create more chaos for ourselves when we get stuck in that chaos loop. If we think things are going to be shitty, you're right. So it's how we process, okay, how we process information. Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to close because I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. I accept all that love. I send you guys so much love back. I thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you about this very difficult piece of life of shit, of crap, this crap. But it is important to have the conversations and not to poo-poo it and not to shove it under the rug, especially if you know somebody who's really struggling. Talk to them about their emotions. Don't shy away from it. Okay? And be there for them. Be an ear. Don't try to fix it. They have to fix it, but you can hold space for them. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I send you all so much love. And I, again, thank you.